Hi everyone! Today we are going to embark on a journey to understanding the exciting world of business research and how it helps us navigate the complexities of today's business environment. We will explore the core principles of business research, highlighting the key concepts and key steps involved in the research process. We'll also draw connections with current trends in business research like big data analytics and social media, illustrating how these developments are shaping the future of business decision making. Our journey begins by understanding the very essence of business research. It's a truth-seeking endeavor, much like the inquisitive spirit of merchants seeking answers to improve their trade practices. This desire to find solutions to enhance performance and improve lives for customers, employees, and owners lies at the heart of business research. Just like we research before making everyday choices, like selecting a movie, business conduct research to answer questions and predict important outcomes. This ensures well-informed decision. Think about the challenges faced by businesses today. Increasing competition, rapid technological advancements, and constantly evolving customer preferences. To thrive in this dynamic environment, managers need more than just gut feelings. They need reliable information and insights. Business research has come a long way from its early beginnings. The rise of literacy, the Industrial Revolution, and advancements in computing have all shaped how research is conducted. For instance, early motion picture technology allowed Frederick Taylor to study worker productivity, and General Electric pioneered the use of consumer research for new product designs. Today, businesses have access to sophisticated tools and technologies. Powerful computers, fast data storage capabilities, and user-friendly software have democratized data analysis, enabling even those without specialized computer skills to uncover valuable insight from complex data. Effective business research is crucial for avoiding costly errors. Imagine launching a product with a name that has an unintended offensive meaning in another language. Globalization has made it ever more critical to understand diverse cultural contexts. Cross-cultural research is essential for ensuring marketing campaigns, product names, and business practices resonate with target audience worldwide. Now that we appreciate the importance of business research, let's map out the steps involved in conducting a successful research project. The process typically unfolds in three phases. We start from phase 1, formulation. The first one, defining the research problem. This involves pinpointing the specific issues that needs to be addressed. For instance, is a restaurant facing declining customer satisfaction or high employee turnover? Second step, examining existing theory. Here, we tap into relevant theories and previous research to gain a deeper understanding of the problem and identify potential factors influencing it. Then, developing research questions and objectives. This guide the research process and outline what we aim to achieve. Are we seeking to understand customer preferences, evaluate employee morale, or assess the impact of a marketing campaign? The fourth, formulating the research design. This blueprint outlines the overall approach to collecting and analyzing data. Will we use surveys, interviews, experiments, or other combination of methods? Now we continue to phase 2, execution. Selecting the sampling methods. This involves choosing a representative group from the larger population we want to study. For instance, we might randomly select customers from a restaurant's database to participate in satisfaction survey. Designing data collection forms. These steps involve creating questionnaires, interview guides, or observation checklists to ensure consistent and relevant data collection. Next step, collecting data. This involves gathering information through surveys, interviews, experiments, or other methods. Checking for errors and cleaning data. These crucial steps ensures the accuracy and reliability of our data by identifying and correcting any inconsistencies or missing information. Coding data. This involves categorizing and organizing the data for efficient analysis. For example, we might code survey response as satisfied, neutral, or dissatisfied. Storing data. This involves securely storing the data for future analysis and references. The third phase, analysis. Analyzing the data. This step involves using statistical or qualitative techniques to uncover patterns, trends, and relationships in the data. Interpretation and inferences. Here, we draw meaningful conclusions from the analyzed data, ensuring the research question we set out to address. Next, evaluating findings. We assess whether our findings support or refute our initial hypothesis and discuss any limitations of the research. Preparing the research report. This final step involves presenting the research findings in a clear, concise, and insightful manner to inform decision making. Theory plays a vital role in business research. A theory is a set of ideas that explain why something happens. It's like a lens through which we view and interpret the world. Theories help us to define key concepts, develop research questions, formulate hypotheses, educated guesses about the relationship between variables. For instance, the hierarchy of effects theory suggests that consumers go through a series of stages before making a purchase, starting with awareness and progressing to knowledge, linking preference, conviction, and finally purchase. Understanding this theory can help businesses to design marketing campaigns that effectively target consumers at each stage. Before embarking on a full-blown research project, it's essential to create a detailed roadmap, the research proposal. This document outlines the problems, the research plan, the budget, and the timeline for the project. A well-structured research proposal typically includes this section. Project title, a concise and descriptive title that captures the essence of the research. Background information. This section sets the context for the research, explaining the events or issues that lead to the need for the study. Problem statement and research objectives. This section clearly defines the research problem and outlines the specific goals the research aims to achieve. Research strategy and methods. This section details the data to be collected, how it will be collected and analyzed, providing a step-by-step plan to achieve the research objective. Nature of the final reports. This section specifies the type of reports to be submitted, including the format, content, and level of detail. Schedule and budget. This section outlines the times for the research project, including key milestones and providing detailed breakdown of the project costs. Qualification of project consultant and research team. This section highlights the expertise and experience of the research team, ensuring the client of their capabilities. As we delve deeper in the research process, we encounter two important terms, variables and construct. Variables are characteristics or attributes that can be measured or observed. Examples include age, gender, income, customer satisfaction, brand loyalty, and employee morale. Constructs are more complex concepts that are not directly observable but are inferred from other measurable variables. For instance, job satisfaction is a construct that can be measured by a combination of variables such as satisfaction with pay, work-life balance, and relationship with colleagues. Understanding the difference between variable and construct is crucial for designing effective measurement instruments and analyzing data accurately. Before collecting new data, we should always explore whether existing data can help answer our research questions. This is where secondary data comes in. Secondary data is information that was previously collected for another purpose but can be relevant to our research project. Think of it as a treasure trove of readily available information, saving us time, effort, and money. Here are some key benefits of using secondary data. Cost effectiveness. It's often cheaper to obtain existing data than collect new data from scratch. Time savings. Secondary data is readily available, reducing the time required for data collection. Large-scale data. Secondary data often provide access to large datasets, enabling broader and more comprehensive analysis. Benchmarking and trend analysis. Secondary data can be used to compare performance across different time periods or against industry benchmarks. Secondary data come in various formats, from summarized reports and tables to raw data sets. It can be sourced internally from a company's existing database or externally from a wide range of providers, including government agencies, market research firms, trade associations, and academic institutions. For instance, many websites offer a wealth of business resources, including articles, expert advice, and industry trends, while organizations like the UN provide extensive data on international issues. While secondary data offers numerous advantages, it's important to critically evaluate its quality before incorporating it into our research. Here are some factors to consider when assessing secondary data. Validity. Does the data accurately measure what it claims to measure? Reliability. Is the data consistent and free from errors? Potential bias. Was the data collected in an objective and unbiased manner? Source credibility. Is the source of the data reputable and trustworthy? Relevance. Is the data relevant to our research question and current enough to be useful? We have now laid a solid foundation for conducting business research. We have explored the research process, the role of theory, the significance of research proposal, and the use of secondary data. It's time to transition to the next crucial step: conceptualization and research design. Conceptualization involves translating abstract research ideas into clearly defined concepts and relationships. It's about creating a mental map of the research problem, identifying key variables and constructs, and hypothesizing how they might be related. Research design is the blueprint for our research project. It outlines the specific methods we will use to collect and analyze data to answer our research question and test our hypothesis. Conceptual models are visual representations of our research idea. They help us to identify key variables and construct, specify relationships between variables, formulate testable hypotheses. For instance, a conceptual model might depict the relationship between employee training, independent variable, and job performance as dependent variable, suggesting that increased training leads to improved performance. When examining the relationship between variables, we often aim to establish causality. This means demonstrating that changes in one variable cause changes in another variables. To establish causality, we need to consider four criteria. The first, covariation. The variable must be related or correlated. Time others. The cause must precede the effect. Non-spurious association. The relationship must be genuine and not due to some other external factor. Theoretical support. There should be a logical explanation for why the causal and effect relationship exists. We have explored the fundamental building blocks of business research, from understanding its purpose and evaluation to navigating the research process. We have laid a solid groundwork for conducting effective business research. We have delved into the importance of theory, the value of research proposals, and the strategic use of secondary data. Furthermore, we have uncovered the intricacies of conceptualization, research design, and causal relationships. Armed with this knowledge, we are ready to tackle real-world business challenges, using research as a powerful tool to drive information decision-making and achieve success in the dynamic landscape of modern business. Thank you for watching. See you next time.